Hello, and thanks for watching yet another speedboat video on Dell 350K4. However, I've clambered up onto a chair and had a good look on top of the wardrobe, and after this one there are no more broken speedboats up there. So this should be the last for a while. This thing is called a Victory EP700, and if you go back far enough on my channel you'll find that I've converted one of these to a rudder before. For that reason I'm not going to go into any detail, but I can assure you that it is worth doing because the last conversion produced a very sea-kindly, fast and generally excellent boat. Once I've got rid of the removable top, we can see that this boat uses the usual twin screw arrangement. I don't think there's much point in my covering the rudder conversion in any detail, so I'll just get on with it. The waterproof box that contains the electronics is too small, so I've cut a hole in the lid and I'm going to add a power bulge. Over by the bench you can see how I've made an extension on the electronics box which bulges upwards to accommodate all the tangled mess of wiring and all the various components. I've only just glued it and it's still a bit wobbly, so while my bulge hardens I thought I'd just show you a brief test of the electronics. As ever, that's a satisfying feeling, converting one of these things to having a proper rudder. As for the way the thing's going to look, you may notice that I've cut away those horrible stickered windows and replaced them with proper glazing, but I've gone one step further. I've also cut off the roof, so we're going to have an open speedboat. The electronics are all neatly contained within the extended box, and we have a driver figure. He's just sitting on a louvered steel panel cut from the side of a dead microwave oven. Well, at this stage I'd usually be saying that it's ready, but I borrowed the props off this and put them on my last boat, the Grey Ghost, which ended up being lost at sea. So I've ordered replacements, but now that they've arrived and I've fitted them, I keep thinking they look a bit smaller than their predecessors. So instead of going all the way to the nearest river, I'm going to try this out in my friend's pool. Right, let's see if these propellers are, as I suspect, slightly too small for this boat. And if they are, will it just rev more and still go just as fast, or will it go slowly? There's only one way for me to find out. Okay, that's flat out, guys. One thought, could it be the battery? Let's bring it back and try another battery. This one was in my charged pile, but I haven't used it for a long time. I don't think it's the battery. Or maybe, perhaps the boat's slowing down. I'll bring it back and we'll find out. Okay, let's try again with a different battery. It's the props. I'm glad I didn't go all the way to the river to test this thing out. Good news! The new propellers have arrived. Bad news. They're much too big. It seems that the only way that you can establish the size of these things is to go by shaft diameter. The ads on Amazon don't quote diameter or pitch or anything useful except shaft diameter. This boat takes 2.5 millimeters. These are for a 2mm shaft. I just drilled them out to fit them. And these ones are for a whopping 4mm shaft. So I'm going to have to sleeve them down and almost certainly cut them down as well. For some reason the entire internet seems to have run out completely of 2.5mm shaft RC surface piercing boat props. The pair of propellers on the right have been both sleeved down to 2.5mm shaft diameter and trimmed down. I'll trim them, test them, trim them a bit more, etc., so I don't take too much off at once. I've fitted the new props. I did have to make one change. This boat was originally designed to have contra-rotating propellers, but the ones that were sent to me both go in the same direction, so I've swapped round the wires to one motor. so now they both turn in the same direction. It's not very promising, it's turning right very aggressively. Okay, steering dual rate is up to maximum. Left rudder. And it goes very slowly and turns right. This isn't going to work. Let's bring it back. Okay, this is embarrassing, but I had fitted the props back to front. Now, with them round the right way, let's try again. Let's see what happens this time. Still painfully slow, but it goes straight now. Okay, big propellers, 3S. Let's see how this does. At last. Let's take it to the river. Well, I'm absolutely overjoyed at this result. For the first time in as long as I can remember, all three of my 1/12 scale RC speedboats are up and running. In the long term I do dream of doing a three-way speedboat race, but that's going to have to wait until it's a lot warmer. I had to go in the river to retrieve this when it got stuck in a patch of weed, and it was very uncomfortable indeed. Oh, it's gone to my bullocks! Ah! So perhaps next spring or summer I might be able to fulfill my dream of making a video featuring all three of my speedboats all running at once. Until then, thanks for watching this.